The lens and lighting of the animation are essentially the same as the film, so I will explain the use of wide-angle lenses in this animation this time. Wide-angle lenses have the characteristics of wide field of view, strong perspective, and lens distortion. The feature of wide field of view, as the name implies, allows you to see a wider picture content. Relying on the feature of a wide-angle lens with a wide field of view, more walls are included in the picture, forming a feeling of inside the box. This kind of box metaphor is even externalized into the plot, and the box is directly set up to perform on the stage. An ultra-wide-angle lens is used in this lens that comes out of the box, and the lens has a particularly obvious distortion. The character struggled to get up from the small box and walk to the camera. The larger camera distortion gives the character's behavior a strange and comedic feeling. At the same time, the composition of the character on both sides and the design of the black and white checkered floor on the ground emphasize the distortion of the camera, once again strengthening the dramatic effect.
And not so strong lens distortion can also bring good results. For example, in the amazing dialogue between Isekai office workers in the 8th episode, the picture style suddenly becomes extremely realistic, and the camera also gives a wide-angle lens with subtle distortion. Imitating the real camera has to use ultra-wide-angle lenses to shoot pictures, due to the narrow environment, which is similar to the shots of many documentaries, creating a subtle sense of reality and a sense of drama.
Wide-angle lenses will make the perspective stronger, make the objects close to the lens bigger and the objects far smaller, thus strengthening the sense of distance. This feature is also used in this lens, protagonist and the classmates in the foreground, reflecting the feeling that the protagonist is isolated by his classmates. In the composition, the two classmates form a gap in the foreground and the protagonist is sandwiched in it, reflecting that the protagonist was at a loss in socializing when he was a child. The strong size contrast generated by the wide-angle lens reflects the protagonist's helplessness. This technique can often be seen in this film, and this shot also highlights the distance between the protagonist and his classmates. It is also because of the characteristic of the wide-angle lens that the protagonist's proportion in the picture is very small, which shows that she seems to be insignificant in the class and is very easy to be ignored. The students do not care about her feelings.
あ、登録者数3万超えてる。うん、そうだよ。私の居場所はネットだけ。もう学校行きたくないな。あ、ギター！それギターだよね。
In this scene, the protagonist is sitting on the swing. The swing and the surrounding railing have a strong perspective, surrounding a circle to frame the protagonist inside, which is also the intention of a box. So is the light and shadow. It is bright outside, and the protagonist is framed by shadows. Then there was a very regular low-position wide-angle lens between the 2 feet. The character ran across the railing, walked into the shadow, and forcibly pulled the protagonist out of the box. This lens also uses the characteristics of strong perspective. The perspective obviously makes the movement along the axis of the camera stronger, making the character running faster and has a sense of waiting. Choosing a low position can show the character's special red boots and swinging skirts while being distinctive and shaping the character's lively and cheerful characteristics. The feature of wide-angle lens is also widely used in action scenes. For example, wide-angle lenses are used in car chasing scenes to make the vehicle appear faster.
These mentioned wide-angle lenses only account for a small part of this animation. The use of wide-angle lenses in this animation is very large. The frequent use of wide-angle lenses has become a kind of image style of this animation, which is also closely related to the theme of the animation, that is, loneliness.